All right, guys, what is up? Welcome to Inside the LPGA podcast. I am Hope Arnett. I am a reporter and host for the LPGA Tour. And let me tell y'all, we didn't have an episode planned this week. All right, we were like, we don't have an episode planned, but something really big happened at the AIG Women's Open at the Old Course, the home of golf, and that is that Lydia Ko won. We snagged an interview with her, so we obviously were like, okay, fine, we'll fit you in, Lydia. We'll fit you in. But before we bring her onto the podcast, I actually just want to talk to you guys. My amazing co-host, Adam Stanley and Emma Talley, always join me. How crazy was that? I was there, so like I'll talk about it in a minute. I have a lot to say, but just starting off, Emma, what are your takeaways from her win at the AIG Women's Open?
To be honest with you, I actually had tears. I was so excited for her. We've talked about how great of a person she is, but really she's done it all now. I mean, for someone to win at the Old Course, a British Open, I mean, you really can't make up a better story. And then obviously 2 weeks before that, she won the gold medal. So I just am so happy for her. I think it's really hard to get in the Hall of Fame on the LPGA Tour. She's done it now. We could not have put together a better storyline than what she made happen. And I think it was just amazing golf. The last putt on the 18th hole was absolutely amazing. The fist pump. I haven't seen Lydia Ko fist pump in a long time. And she fist pumped. And I was like, yeah, you did, girl. Let's go. I mean, it was just so fun. I think everyone's just really happy for her, and I think I can't imagine what she's going to be thinking, well, what's next? Because she's actually done it all now.
Yeah, I mean, Adam, I kind of just went straight into this, but before I toss it over to you to really put it into perspective, I mean, she has been on tour for so long. She was the low am in 2013 when the LPGA last played at the Old Course. So it was really cool, like really full circle to come back and be able to win in 2024. And so, yeah, like you said, she got the gold medal, completed her trifecta of medals, which casual. And then 2 weeks later, won at the Old Course. So just talk about that, Adam, because how many players can do that, you know, and like get into the Hall of Fame and then win a major that you've never won before?
Yeah, so the short answer is no one. Only Lydia. And I think let's talk two things from me, and then obviously we want to get into this interview, and everyone's going to be excited to hear from her. We're excited to chat with her. I think there is one big thing that male, female, whatever it is, you win a major championship at the Old Course at St. Andrews, the literal home of golf. We had such a huge conversation about this in our last pod. You know, it's the home of golf for a reason. And you look at the laundry list of golfers who have won, Claret Jug, the AIG Women's Open. You look at who they are and where they are in just golfing history and the rundown of this game that has gone on for hundreds and hundreds of years. And it's, you know, kind of the who's who. And Lydia Ko stamping her name into that list, into the history books, is incredible, point number one. And the fact that she came into the week with her last victory being a gold medal, stamping again her name into the LPGA Hall of Fame. Like, you can't write this, you can't script it. She's one of one, and she's such a good person as well. So all of that is absolutely amazing. And I think, Hope, I'll throw it back to you because you were there and you kind of bared witness to the actual golf itself here. But for me as an observer, and Emma obviously watching as well with a lot of emotion, you know, Lydia kind of was just chipping away, right? It wasn't always her major championship to win, but by the time we got there to Sunday evening, I guess, Scotland time, she made the putts when it mattered. She hit the right shots when it mattered. She played the best when it mattered, and kind of managed to stay within herself and kind of not get bogged down or overwhelmed with the conditions. And, you know, before, obviously had a little bit of luck, I guess, as well. You know, some other folks on the leaderboard, you know, there were so many that, you know, the names are now escaping me. But, you know, as it happened on Sunday, some people fell down, Lydia kept climbing, and then before you know it, Lydia had won this thing. So, historically, absolutely amazing. And two, you know, just played good golf at the right time and ended up winning.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, what's funny is that in her post-round interview, she said she had two simple goals, and that was to par 11 and birdie 18. Like, I don't even think she was necessarily, of course she wanted to win, right? But she was 3 back going into the final round. And to be honest, everyone's eyes were kind of on Nelly Korda and Lydia Vu, you know, like it was just, they were at the top of the leaderboard. And it was just, that's kind of what we thought. And we were like, oh, of course, Lydia's going to get a top 5 finish, you know, like she always does. I don't think anyone was necessarily looking at her until we were like, oh, she's made 4 birdies today. And she did par 11 and she did birdie 18. She did exactly what she said she wanted to do. And let me tell you, the conditions were tough. Like, they were really, really tough. Like, I was struggling just walking around out there. I was like, I can't imagine
standing straight up on the
weather.
bridge. Yeah.
Literally, yeah. I was like, so I can't even fathom it. But, you know, she finished. She was like 3 groups ahead of the leaders. She had to wait to see if Lydia Vu would win or force a playoff. And ultimately, unfortunately, Lilia did 3-putt the last hole, which was, I hated watching that, you know. But at the end of the day, it was Lydia's tournament, and it was her trophy, and she hoisted it, and it was absolutely iconic. We use that word a lot, but that is like, it was iconic. It was iconic, and yeah, it was awesome.
Hope, real quick, I think as you were talking about Lilia, obviously Nelly, was it 4 golfers who had been number 1 in the world, and then I guess in Nelly's case, the current world number 1, that were all tied for the lead at one point on that Sunday afternoon?
No, it was nuts. It was like, you know, the best of the best were at the top of the leaderboard, and I was like, this storyline could not get any better. It's at the home of golf. You know, like the weather's doing Scotland things. It was carnage, which is what I wanted. I was like, let's go. So it was so much fun to watch. And I think as a whole, we were also happy for Lydia. And thankfully, she's the best and is joining the podcast this week. So without further ado, let's interview Lydia Ko. All right, we are so excited to welcome Lydia Ko into the podcast. Lydia, thank you so much for joining us. I know you were probably exhausted. You've had a long, crazy week. But yeah, thank you for joining us.
No, thanks for having me.
I just think we should jump right in because, like I said, it's been insane for you. You won the gold medal. Then you got into the LPGA Hall of Fame. And then last week, I was so happy to bear witness to you winning the AIG Women's Open at the Old Course. Can you just talk about how you're even, like, have you wrapped your head around everything that you've been doing lately?
Yeah, I think like on Saturday or Friday at the AIG Women's Open, I was stretching and then I looked at my husband and I was like, I can't believe I won the gold medal. And he was like, yeah, me too. And then now, like after Sunday, I was like, I can't believe I won. And then he was like, yeah, it's crazy. Because honestly, I said in my press conference too, like I didn't really expect to win. You know, I felt like I was playing consistent, but I had no idea I was tied for the lead until I went on the 16th green.
Oh, wow.
And even then, you know, I'm like a few groups ahead, so anything could happen, right? So I was just like, oh, you know, something too good to be true happened. Like, what are the odds? It seems like it's, you know, it's just been too good. Like,
Yeah.
it truly can't happen again. And then it happened, and it's just like in ways it's hard to, you know, wrap my head around it. But I think after the Olympics, it was good that I got to play the Scottish and then, you know, play obviously the Women's Open, because it just kind of made me focus on what was in front of me and not get caught up about, you know, the amazing thing that has happened.
Right.
And yeah, it's been a crazy European swing, and yeah, it's just like overwhelming almost, but you know, obviously very grateful, and it's just been just honestly a dream.
Yeah. Before I toss it to Adam, I just want to say, girl, you got a flair for the dramatics, because every single week, you know, like this year after you won Hilton, we were like, ooh, she just needs one more point, like to get into the LPGA Hall of Fame. We were all waiting. But to do it at the Olympics, like how crazy is that to do it with your, you know, your country's colors? I mean, how wild. Is that something that you kind of had in the back of your mind, like getting into the Hall of Fame, like, or was it something you kind of tried to like push down?
I think being like 1 point away was definitely less stressful than two. And I hadn't played like that great since like April anyway for a couple months that, you know, it really like was like, oh, you know what, if it doesn't happen, like it doesn't happen. And my husband and my mom were real, like the really big factors in that and saying that, hey, you know what, you've achieved so much and what has happened has been, a lot more than what we could have all asked for. So, like, you getting in the Hall of Fame doesn't make that big of a difference. And, honestly, now, like, at that point, I think it's kind of like hard in the sense because you're like, yeah, I'm so close. Like, I feel like it is going to make a big difference. But, like, think about it now, it hasn't changed my world that much. I still come back to the same house. My routines are really all the same. So it's just, yeah, I think, like them telling me that was a bit of a sense of relief. But it's just, yeah, I think when you're almost like so close, but it's like I feel like that was not my league. Like I didn't deserve to be there. That I was like, if it doesn't work, like it's just like not meant to be, and it's just been like easier. But I mean, I could have dreamt that I was gonna do that by winning the gold, but that's it's almost like a dream, like I said, and I've been so fortunate to win two medals in the past two games, just
Yep.
to say that I'm winning 3 out of 3, like going into the week, doesn't matter what color, I would have said, yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And, to say I won the gold, it's just, yeah, that's why it's just crazy. And it's like, almost like where I have to pinch myself and go, is this real?
Yeah, definitely.
Lydia, it's very real. Just confirming, like you're good. It
Yeah.
really happened.
You're not in a dream.
a lot to celebrate. Obviously, you had mentioned about the Sunday night burger. Did you have a burger on Sunday night? Did you have the Thai food? Was the restaurant open? What happened Sunday night in St. Andrews?
Yeah, we ended up actually just eating at player dining.
Oh no!
The team there were no, the team there were fantastic. I know the RNA and WME, run that, and a lot of the people that are like organizing are like people that I've known for a really long time. So we were all just having the player dining food, and I hadn't had the lunch player dining, so it was perfect. It was like a new meal, and I had to like leave the hotel at like 2:30 in the morning anyway, so we just got something quick. But my husband yesterday, my husband had been saying, hey, we need to celebrate when we come home, so we came back, and yesterday he said, oh, we're going to somewhere that he's been a couple times, but he wanted to surprise me, and it was just going to be a dinner for us two, but it ended up being like a dinner, like a surprise dinner with a lot of our friends and neighbors
Yes.
there,
That's
and
awesome.
my trainers, which were awesome, and I had a burger then.
And a burger there.
And she had a
Yes.
burger.
Yes. So, because on Monday I came back and I was like, I want a burger, and he's like, just wait for a burger on Tuesday, and I was like, okay. So I thought we were just going to like a burger place, but my trainer and my husband had organized like a little surprise party at the gym with like a full outdoor, like fresh catered, like burgers
Aw.
and gluten free even. So it was awesome. Just feel so blessed to have this kind of a team and family, really.
I wanted to ask a little
That's
bit
amazing.
about kind of that, because I think a lot was made about your husband being there at St. Andrews, obviously the rest of your family, as you kind of like zoom out and you realize how loved you are. I mean, some of the golfers who missed the cut stuck around in town and they gave you a big hug after your win, and it was obviously a very emotional time for you. But as a couple days have gone by and as you zoom out and you realize kind of the magnitude of your accomplishments over the last 3-4 weeks, like what is the overwhelming emotion that's maybe running through you kind of now and over the last couple days as you got to come home?
Yeah, I think, first off, I'm just like so grateful. When we're out there on tour, like, like as much as we're competing against each other, I think one of the um, best, I think, traits of our tour is, the friendships that we have. And, I've been on tour for 11 years and I've made, some friendships that I'm gonna still be, that we're still gonna be in touch with, even if we're not playing in competitive golf anymore. And, Brooke is somebody that I've known for a really long time. And, Andrea also was there, like Hyoju, and it's just yeah, I think I'm very like thankful that I can go to my workplace and not hate the people that I'm competing against, and as much as I want to win, I want other people to do well. And that's why I think obviously Lilia didn't have the finish that she was hoping for. Like, I would never wish bad upon anyone because, we're all in the same shoes of wanting to win, and we all know it's so difficult that I think like as much as people say, "Oh yeah, I'm sure like you want like her to mess up," but it's like no, like I want to play the best golf I can and hopefully be the one at the top, and not like because somebody don't like play as well. And I think the reason why I cried like there after I realized I'd won was, I think one of the biggest factors was just my husband. He really wanted to be at the Olympics, and Olympics is difficult with like accreditation and everything. It's not like you can say, "Hey, mom, dad, like everyone come." It's like different, and he really wanted to be there. Like the day before I left, he said, "Should I go?" But we thought that the Women's Open would just be better because I'd be able to spend more time with him and for him to enjoy Scotland too. And after I'd won the gold, we called each other and we both started crying. And it's just like, I know he really wanted to be there because that was going to be my last Olympics. And, the Olympics doesn't come back again. If the Women's Open comes back next year, but it's like that is like a one and done thing. So I know he was really gutted, and I was gutted for him. And this winning the Women's Open was the first event where he's been there with me the whole week, and I've won the event. Because when I won at CME, he just came on the weekend, and I remember somewhere in between, he told me, he said, I feel like sometimes I don't play well when he comes. And I was like, no, that's not true. Like, it's just like coincidental that I may have not played well or have played well. And I said, hey, I played well at PV. I played well, I won CME. But I think as like somebody that's not in full control, like I realized that you could potentially have those kind of thoughts thinking, oh, maybe it's my fault. And it just like meant a lot that he could be there. And like outside of me winning, like we had such a fun week, with my brother-in-law, my sister, and my mom, that it just kind of was like the cherry on top of the cake, like outside of all the results. So I think it just made it so special that he was there. And like he wakes up at 4 a.m. with me for a 7 a.m. tea time. And, I said I couldn't wake up at 4 a.m. for like his work. So like what, what he's doing and for me and what he does is just, I'm very thankful to have, a partner like that. And I'm sure Emma can, say the same, about her husband as well.
Yeah, totally. It's a grind out here, and it's hard to manage not just the golf stuff, but everything outside the golf stuff, carrying our luggage and I mean, everything in the airport, the travel, the golf, the ups and downs. I tell people all the time, the highs are high and the lows are low, but it's hard. And like mental health is a real thing for professional athletes. But speaking kind of about the mental health aspect is, I know we've spoken about just the hardships of the highs and of the lows. And I just look at your career, and you've had so much success throughout your career. And we change a lot. You change golf coaches. You've also been out here 11 years, so like your age has changed, and caddy changes. How did you stay patient through all of this, the ups and downs, and kind of, I mean, like you said, the springtime wasn't your best friend. So how did you kind of bounce back and stay patient through all those changes throughout the years? And I just think it's crazy. I don't know if people understand how hard it is getting the Hall of Fame, and you've done it, which means you've won a lot of golf tournaments.
Well, thank you, Emma. But yeah, it's just, I think no matter if you're the number one ranked player in the world that has, won like 6 events like Nelly or let's say Scotty Scheffler has, or if you're the 1,000th in the world, or if you are just turning professional. It's, I think, like outside of that, like we're all athletes that continuously want to get better. And you know that if you do the same, like what you're doing well, you obviously have to continue and maintain, but at the same time, you want to keep improving because if you stay in the same spot, people are going to catch up to you and then surpass you. So I think that's why it's a continuous grind and know that, even when Nelly won the gazillion tournaments in a row, she was probably still thinking of like what are the things that she needs to work on to get better and get more consistent. And, sometimes like we have to make, in ways that looks like drastic decisions for that.
Right.
And, at first instance, it might not work, and sometimes it might never work. So you end up going back to what was good or something new from there as well. But I do feel like you have to, like, sometimes, adjust and make changes because, time is going, and I'm not going to be the same person as 2 weeks ago, nor myself 11 years ago.
We got a lot of young guns at our back.
Exactly. And I mean, I sometimes can't believe that, the next rookie on tour is like 9 years younger than me. And I was like, wow, when did I get like this place, Yeah. So it's just, I think I've just tried to stay really patient. And I think the thing that has really stayed the same is I've had a good team and family, even if that team has changed. And I think having those support staff that I really believe in is important. And this like spring was not great, but I started working with another coach, Holton Freeman, who's out in Florida, alongside Siwoo. And I think the combination and even my putting coach Chris, like it's all been like cohesive where we're all working together. And I knew that even though like my results didn't show at KPMG or Evian at places that I really wanted to play well, I felt like there was some sort of like step forward.
Deep down.
Yes, yeah. And it's hard to admit when you're like, well, I just shot, whatever, and my scorecard doesn't say it, but I knew that internally I was progressing, and I think that was the really important thing for me.
We're kind of running out of time a little bit, so I just want to point out that Serve Pro has stepped in a big way for this podcast.
Yes, they have, because when fire, water, or damage happens, there's Serve Pro. And Emma, when a bad shot happens, what is there?
A mulligan. So thankfully they know how to make it look like it never even happened. I have plenty of mulligans that I would like to take in my life, and that's where we come to you, Lydia. If you had to take one mulligan, whether it be in golf or in life or what you had for dinner last night, what would your mulligan be?
My mulligan right now that I'm thinking of is I had 4 slices of cake yesterday, and I'm thinking I should have stopped at 1.
I think it's well deserved. Thank you so much, Lydia. We could go on and on and on. There's so many questions I have for you, but we might have to just get you on another time.
Yes, sounds great. No, thank you guys for having me. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Lydia, and congrats. Honestly, we are so happy for you, and it is much deserved.
Congrats, Lydia.
Thank you.
Congrats, Lydia.
Thank you.
Hall of Famer.
Bye.
What a summer.
What a treat it was to catch up with Lydia Ko, our most recent LPGA Hall of Famer. We are so happy for her. So everyone that is watching or listening, be sure to rate and download and do all of the things. We greatly appreciate it. And if you liked this episode, then be sure to tune in next week because we are going to be doing a big Solheim Cup preview and we are freaking hyped about it. So everyone, thank you so much for watching Inside the LPGA podcast and we will see you again soon.